Hello there, good morning. It's 6 o'clock on Monday morning. We're with you all the way through until 9 with Ben and Susanna here from 6:30. Boris Johnson is to announce a £5.5 billion funding boost for the NHS to help tackle the backlog caused by the COVID pandemic. He's also due to outline an overhaul of England's social care system in the coming days. But the Prime Minister is facing growing opposition from his own cabinet and MPs to a proposed increase in national insurance next April to pay for the reforms, which would break a Tory manifesto pledge. Put up national insurance despite this growing revolt.
Yeah, he's certainly got a fight on his...
Nicola Roberts and Nadine Coyle say they are absolutely devastated by the death of their former Girls Aloud bandmate Sarah Harding at the age of 39. The singer revealed last August she'd been diagnosed with breast cancer, which had spread to other parts of her body. Here's Michelle Morrison. Now, the Prime Minister will defend his handling of the Afghanistan crisis in a statement to MPs later in the Commons. He will reiterate his pledge to use every economic, political and diplomatic lever to help those left behind by Britain when the Kabul airlift ended. The first wave of Afghan refugees evacuated to the UK will be leaving quarantine this week to begin their new lives here. Change for those who will be adjusting to new lives. What's being done to resettle them? And I'll be speaking to the author of the National Food Strategy Report, Henry Dimbleby, in just a few minutes' time. On to football now, and in the World Cup qualifiers, England is exactly 13 minutes past 6. Let's find out what's happening with the... Thanks, we'll enjoy it while it lasts. Well, good morning, Britain's here all the way through until 9. Ben and Susanna will be here from 6:30. First, let's get the news, travel and weather where you are. See you in a moment. Now, the England star Marcus Rashford says it is devastating that the number of children in food poverty is growing. He's been... Now, let's take a look at the front pages, and all the newspapers this morning have covered the tragic death of Sarah Harding, who died from breast cancer aged just 39. Let's sign, isn't it, when we see her picture on every front page today, and those tributes of Hear Me Out that raised money, didn't it, for the hospital that was treating her, and she was sort of using it as a warning for us. I know you interviewed her a number of times, didn't you? We've been sort of reflecting on her life all this morning, and she just comes across as so energetic, full of life, this sort of bundle of energy. What was she like?
The cabbie, the cleaner. It's just such a shame she's not here because she had such be, and I think that's something that she craved throughout her life.
Quite a journey, hadn't she? I've been, you know, really loving looking back when we saw those early auditions of her in Pop Stars, the journey that she'd had musically and throughout her life.
Actually signed up to do a tour with them in 2020.
Isn't she? Ellie, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Now, coming up next, Ben and Susanna will be here in just a moment. And after 7 this morning, breaking news, and in the last hour, the Taliban has claimed it now controls the whole of Afghanistan after taking over the province of Panjshir. It's the last pocket of resistance to its rule. Well, the Prime Minister will defend his handling of the Afghanistan crisis in a statement to MPs this afternoon. Meanwhile, the first wave of Afghan refugees will leave quarantine this week to begin new lives in Britain. Nicola Roberts and Nadine Coyle say they are absolutely devastated by the death of their former Girls Aloud bandmate Sarah Harding at the age of 39. The singer revealed last August she'd been diagnosed with breast cancer, which had spread to other parts of her body. Here's Michelle Morrison. Remembering Sarah Harding, who's died at the age of 39. And Ben and Susanna will be talking to Pete Waterman more about her life shortly. Now, on to football, and in the World Cup qualifiers, England... We have Len on there. I'm like, oh, Len, if only you're different. That's one way to have a football match, isn't it? Cut short before they'd even got going.
That perhaps they might have intervened earlier rather